And while public schools across New York City are in full remote learning mode right now, Catholic schools remain open for in-person learning. Parochial schools are now becoming an alternative for parents just really frustrated with New York City's public school system. So Dr. Thomas Chadzutko is the superintendent of the Catholic schools across Brooklyn and Queens, and he joins us this morning to explain why they are allowed to stay open. Good morning. Thanks for being with us.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Great to meet you.
Good to see you. So an estimated 60,000 students attend Catholic schools across the city. How are they managing to stay open safely as the COVID cases increase?
One of the things that we've been working on tirelessly is to make sure that when the children are coming into our buildings, that we do our daily health screenings, our daily temperature checks, and most importantly is that we continue to sanitize, deep clean, and keep our schools clean on a daily basis. Also important to note is that in our recovery plans for our schools, our principals and our teachers continually monitor each of the situations that they're faced with. And that's why I think we're able to continue to keep our schools open at this point.
Yeah, but Catholic schools on Staten Island, they were forced to close last week when it was designated a yellow zone. So how many Catholic schools are open for in-person learning across the city right now?
In Brooklyn and Queens, we have 69 elementary schools and 16 high schools. All of our elementary schools are open, the 69 that we oversee through the Office of the Superintendent, and our high schools continue to remain open as well.
So under what circumstances could you be forced to shut down and transition to remote learning?
I think what we're closely monitoring right now is what the governor is talking about. If New York City becomes an orange zone, and as a result of the governor declaring the city as an orange zone, we obviously would adhere to his expectations, shut down, and move to a totally remote platform, which we are really ready to move to at this point.
Now, I've heard of some schools even going above and beyond and doing like 20 to 25% coronavirus testing on site to make sure that none of the children there have it. So what kind of, I know you mentioned earlier some of the COVID screenings, meaning that you had extra precautions when it came to cleaning, but any additional screenings that you might want to implement?
Yeah, actually today, a number of our schools will be doing the 20 to 25% COVID testing. Those are our schools that have been in the red zone and the yellow zone. Coming out of the Thanksgiving holiday, we're looking to expand that testing, especially as we keep hearing we don't know what this holiday weekend is going to bring. So we have been able to set up those systems, and our families have really been very supportive of us and giving us permission to test their children, as well as our faculty members continue to be proactive in keeping themselves safe and healthy.
So explain to us how that works for parents out there who are sending their kids to school. Is it a nasal swab test? Does it cost them additional money? How many times will they be tested?
Okay, it's a random test. It's the rapid test that the state has given to all of our schools, and it's the cheek test that allows us to get our results in a couple of minutes. And as a result, parents are welcome to come into the buildings with their children if they feel that their children need support. And it gives us an opportunity as well to make sure that the children feel comfortable in doing this. With regard to the testing, it's a random testing, but we send out our consent forms on a weekly basis. And we continue to work with our parents to make sure that they feel that we're doing the best for their children to keep them safe.
You know, Catholic school enrollment is clearly on the rise because some parents are making the shift, right, since public schools are going all remote. What is being done to, I guess, make room for these students who want to come in? And is there any kind of tuition assistance?
Okay, there's always tuition assistance through our Futures in Education. At this time of the year, a lot of those funds have been used. However, we still would encourage our families who come from the public school to apply for a scholarship. We would be able to work with them based on their need. With regard to available space in our buildings, we began an aggressive process yesterday of analyzing how many seats are available. We do have a good amount of space in most of our schools in the nursery and pre-K and kindergarten programs. But as we look into the rest of the buildings, grades 1 to 8, we're working to see if we can get at least 3 to 4 additional students in each of those grades throughout the diocese.
So it's going to be tight then. There's not going to be a whole lot of spots available. All right, Doctor, thank you so much for your time and explaining all this to us. There's a lot going on, and we appreciate you spending a little time with us today.
Good morning, and thank you again for having me. Appreciate your efforts.
Absolutely. Thank you.